The aroma of freshly ground coffee always calmed Lily. It was part of her ritual: start the morning with a deep breath, a quiet moment, and a splash of oat milk into her mug. The clink of ceramic was the only sound in the break room that morning. Peaceful. Predictable. She hadn't noticed Ryan enter until the air shifted. He didn't say good morning. He didn't smile. He stared at her as if she were an outdated printer someone had forgotten to replace. Lily. My office. Now. Not a request. Not a question. An order. She paused, the carton of oat milk still in her hand. Good morning to you too, she muttered under her breath. But she followed. Lily had been at Dynamics for nearly 11 years. She had been here before the glass meeting rooms, before the rebranding, before the espresso machine. She had been there when the client services department was just an idea sketched on a whiteboard. She had negotiated over 100 contracts, mentored more than 2/3 of the current floor, and weathered 2 market crashes. But none of that mattered to Ryan Cole. He had been at the company for 7 months. 7. And in that time, he had redecorated the executive floor, fired 2 senior directors, and referred to the receptionist as "what's her name" in meetings. Lily walked behind him through the hallway lined with success posters and muted glass panels. Her shoes made soft thuds on the carpet. Each step added weight to the dread building in her chest. He didn't sit when they entered the office. "You're fired," he said. Flat. Dry. As if he were announcing the time. "Excuse me?" Her voice was steady, but her heart had begun pounding. "We don't need lazy people dragging this place down. It's time for a new direction." He was already looking at a stack of papers, flipping lazily through them like a bored intern browsing menus. For a second, Lily thought this was a joke, a bizarre hazing ritual. Maybe someone would pop out and yell, "Gotcha!" But no one came. "I think there's a mistake," she said carefully. "There's no mistake." He didn't even look up. "You can pack your things." Effective immediately. She stared at him. Her vision narrowed, her pulse thudding in her ears. She could feel the heat rising to her face, but her voice, when it came, was calm. Controlled. "Understood," she said. She turned to leave. As she passed the client services bullpen, the team she had helped shape from scratch, some of her colleagues began to stand, eyes wide, uncertain. She shook her head gently. Don't make this worse." Lily packed her things in silence. She didn't take much. A framed photo of her and her younger sister at the Grand Canyon. A small bonsai tree she'd raised from a dying gift plant. A notebook filled with handwritten notes on the Kingswell account. She didn't cry. Not even when she stepped into the elevator. But by the time she reached the parking lot, her hands were trembling. The apartment was quiet when Lily returned home. Too quiet. She set the box of her belongings down on the kitchen counter and stared at it like it might suddenly explain why everything she'd built for over a decade had been swept away in less than 10 minutes. Her phone buzzed, but she didn't check it. Not yet. She needed to breathe. Her fingers traced the edge of her old notebook, the Kingswell notes. Pages of planning, strategy, client psychology, and risk assessments. Every line scribbled late at night. Every word written while other departments slept. The deal was enormous. If successful, it would expand Dynamics into an entirely new market. Lily had been the sole architect of the negotiation. She'd cultivated the relationship for months. It was her deal. So why fire her now? Something about the timing was wrong. She opened her laptop, her hands moving before her thoughts could catch up. She reread her original contract, signed years ago, updated only once after the Steel Ridge disaster. There it was, Clause 7B. In the case of strategic accounts designated as high-tier international partnerships, authority of final negotiation rests solely with the individual listed as primary liaison. No substitutions permitted without written client consent. She was that individual. Ryan hadn't just fired her, he'd crippled the entire Kingswell deal without realizing it. Lily stood so abruptly her chair screeched against the floor. Her pulse surged. She wasn't just wronged. The company had just put itself in a position to lose everything. Her phone buzzed again. This time, she picked up. Unknown number. She hesitated, then answered. Lily. The voice sent a jolt through her. Mr. Cole. The real CEO. I just walked into the office. What happened? Why the hell did you pack up and leave? She almost laughed. Your son fired me. Silence. Then, a sharp intake of breath. When? Yesterday. What did he say? Mr. Cole's voice was low and strained, barely containing the tremor beneath. That I was lazy. That I wasn't needed anymore. Another pause. Then a sound, papers being shoved, something heavy hitting a desk. Jesus Christ, he muttered. There was a long silence before his voice returned, tight and furious. Lily, did he read your contract? No. He's supposed to finalize the Kingswell deal today. I was the only authorized negotiator. He can't close it. There was another thud, this time louder. That clause was in there for a reason, Mr. Cole said. I insisted on it. After what happened with Steel Ridge. You're the only person Kingswell recognizes. Lily exhaled slowly. And suddenly, everything was clear. Ryan hadn't done his homework. He had fired her impulsively, arrogantly. And now, the gun he thought he'd used to shoot her down was pointed squarely at himself. I need to go, Mr. Cole said. I have to fix this before it collapses. He hung up without another word. Lily stood still in her living room, cold coffee beside her, eyes locked on the horizon. Not in defeat. Not in despair. In thought. The moment Lily walked through the main lobby of Colon Dynamics, every head turned. She wasn't dressed like someone coming to grovel. Her blazer was sharp, her heels steady, her face calm. Controlled. The receptionist almost dropped her tablet. Miss Harris. Mr. Cole is expecting you, this way, please. Lily smiled slightly. Let them see. She followed the receptionist past rows of cubicles and hallways that used to be familiar. Now, they looked like terrain from a battlefield. The silence that followed her steps was not the respectful kind. It was loaded, curious, uncomfortable, waiting. When Mr. Cole opened the door to his office, he didn't speak right away. He simply gestured for her to sit, his face drawn with regret and something else, respect. I gave my son too much power, he said finally. And now we're both paying for it. You wanted him to prove himself, Lily replied. I didn't expect him to burn the bridge before even learning how to cross it. He slid a new contract across the desk, everything they'd agreed upon in writing. Authority over Kingswell. Autonomy. No Ryan. And one more thing, Lily said, voice steady. This doesn't happen again. Not to me. Not to anyone. Mr. Cole didn't hesitate. You have my word. By 1:30 p.m., the Kingswell team was seated in the boardroom, sharp suits, folded documents, a translator at the far end. Lily greeted the lead negotiator in fluent Arabic. His surprise turned to a warm smile. You remembered, he said. Lily nodded. Respect goes a long way. The deal was signed 2 hours later. It was flawless. The praise came fast, emails, handshakes, nods in the hallway, but Lily didn't let it settle in. Something in the air still felt off. The first red flag appeared the next morning. A small delay in her travel reimbursement. Then a document she submitted was mysteriously lost. Then an email, sent from her account, containing inaccurate pricing sent to an international partner. Fortunately, that partner reached out directly to clarify. But the damage was subtle. Deliberate. She reported the email incident to the internal systems team. Their verdict was chilling: the message wasn't sent from outside the network. It came from a shared machine inside the office. Someone had accessed her credentials. The sabotage had begun. And she knew exactly who was behind it. Ryan hadn't been able to get rid of her the first time. So now, he was trying to discredit her, slowly, strategically, like poison in a cup. But Lily wasn't 22 anymore. She had played this game before. And she was going to win it. One evening, working late in the office, she passed the conference room and heard voices. "She's unstable," Ryan was saying, his voice too loud to be accidental. "Erratic. Aggressive. Not fit to manage high-pressure clients." Lily froze. Another voice, unfamiliar, responded, "But the Kingswell deal." "She got lucky," Ryan snapped. "We can't run this company on luck." She didn't confront him. Not yet. Instead, she pulled out her private notebook. She began to write. It started with a quiet knock on her office door. David, the lead internal auditor, stepped in holding a laptop and a sealed folder. He looked like a man carrying a bomb. "Got a minute?" he asked. Lily nodded, already knowing this wasn't about a routine check-in. In the converted storage room turned out at war room, monitors blinked, white boards showed timelines, and folders were stacked like miniature skyscrapers. David led her to a corner desk. "We've been tracking system irregularities related to your login," he said. "At first, we thought it might be phishing. But..." He pulled up a file. This email, he pointed to the fabricated message, was sent from a shared terminal near the break room. "Your credentials were entered manually." Lily leaned forward, her jaw tightening. "So someone copied my login." David nodded. "It wasn't external. It was internal. Intentional." She didn't speak. Her silence was a fortress. "There are others," David continued. "Spreadsheets edited. Files deleted. Approvals removed. All under your ID. But all traced to shared machines." "Who had access?" she asked quietly. David hesitated. "The pattern links back to Ryan's executive assistant's login. Multiple times." Her pulse didn't spike. It slowed. Cold. Steady. Focused. He wasn't just smearing her. He was doing it with surgical precision. "What happens now?" "We present the findings directly to Mr. Cole tomorrow. He's asked for full transparency." "I'll be there." "You're not required." "I'll be there," she repeated. David didn't argue. That night, Lily didn't sleep. She walked through every detail of the past month. Every email. Every meeting. Every quiet dig from colleagues who once smiled too easily. She thought about the employees who had quietly left the company over the past year. Some had been rising stars. Others, loyal veterans. All of them, silenced. Had they all been Ryan's practice rounds? Lily arrived at the executive boardroom early the next morning. David and 2 auditors were already there. Mr. Cole stood near the windows, hands in his pockets, watching the skyline. At 9:10, Ryan strolled in, late, smug, phone in hand. Until he saw her. "She's not on the audit committee," he said, startled. "She's here at my request," Mr. Cole replied without turning. Ryan stiffened. "This is supposed to be confidential." "Then you shouldn't have used company systems to falsify records." Lily's voice was like ice breaking. Ryan laughed, a short, nervous sound. "This is ridiculous. She's just bitter about being fired." David cleared his throat. "We traced multiple falsified documents and email irregularities to logins associated with your assistant's terminal. There's a timeline. A pattern. You're reaching. She got lucky with Kingswell. That's all." Lily stood slowly, eyes locked on him. "You sabotaged me. You tried to bury me to cover your mistake." Mr. Cole finally turned. His voice was low. I gave you a chance, Ryan. I gave you more than one. Ryan opened his mouth to protest, but Mr. Cole raised a hand. The board will review the audit results. Until then, you are suspended. Effective immediately. Ryan's jaw clenched. But for once, he had no lines to spin. No clever exits. He turned to leave, no apology, no glance back. The door clicked shut behind him. 2 weeks passed since Ryan's suspension, and his absence echoed through every corridor. No one dared speak his name aloud, but whispers followed in his wake like the last traces of a storm. The audit report was damning. Falsified records. Altered approvals. Emails written under other people's logins. Weaponized HR complaints. All of it, organized and executed under Ryan's direction, or by people he had convinced to act on his behalf. He wasn't coming back. The board didn't hold a press conference. There was no apology memo. Just a brief internal announcement: Ryan Cole's employment has been terminated due to breaches of ethical conduct. No lawsuits. No headlines. But the staff knew. They knew who had fought and who had folded. And they knew who had stayed. Mr. Cole called Lily into his office late on a Friday. He didn't look like a CEO. He looked like a father who had aged 10 years in 2 weeks. "I've failed a lot of people," he said. "But I failed you most of all." She didn't respond. He slid a folder across the desk. Inside, an executive appointment letter. Director of Client Strategy. Reporting directly to him. Autonomy. Power. Accountability. "You didn't ask for this," he said. "That's why you deserve it." Lily didn't smile. "If I accept, I want more than a title. I want a say in how we rebuild. No more cultures of fear. No more cover-ups." Mr. Cole nodded. "That's exactly what I hoped you'd say." Her new office wasn't flashy. It didn't need to be. The nameplate wasn't installed yet, but her calendar filled quickly. She reinstated the anonymous reporting system. She reopened roles to employees who had been quietly forced out. She listened. To juniors. To admin staff. To those who had once stood in hallways unsure whether to speak. And she told the truth, even when it was uncomfortable. "You don't always choose your battles," she told a young analyst one afternoon. "But you do choose who you become while fighting them." The Kingswell deal hit industry news a week later. Breakthrough in cross-border partnership secured through strategic restructuring and multilingual leadership. No names mentioned. But everyone at Colon Dynamics knew. As for Ryan? Rumor had it he was interviewing at smaller firms out of state. But reputations travel fast, and sabotage leaves a scent that clings. Some said Mr. Cole made a few quiet calls to keep his son's name out of the public fallout. Maybe that was his final act as a father. Lily didn't ask. She didn't need to. One evening, walking past the boardroom where Kingswell had signed, Lily paused. The city shimmered beyond the glass walls. It wasn't the deal that had changed her life. It was the moment she walked out of Ryan's office with her head high and said nothing. She hadn't begged. She hadn't flinched. She had remembered her worth. And from that day on, no one would take it from her again.